Some games have epic storylines, some have huge open worlds, but today I want to look at small games focused around one simple idea. There are lots of these kinds of games out there, from fun little solo games like Game Dev Tycoon to multiplayer games like Golf with Your Friends. There are lots of these small little experiences out there that don't deliver anything huge or groundbreaking, but have lots of value packed into them nonetheless. Even joke games like There's Poop in My Soup have value in them. Each of these games is a way to look into one simple idea and dig a bit more into it without having all the other mechanics and systems of larger games distracting from that core experience. That doesn't mean that these games can't have anything else in them besides their core idea, but nothing ever distracts from that core idea. For example, you look at Game Dev Tycoon and the main point of the game is to make games. The vast majority of the game is simply figuring out what kind of game to make and what parts of the game to focus on. Within that, there are other game mechanics like balancing your team of developers, researching game types and new consoles, as well as keeping track of market trends, but none of this ever feels like it takes away from the focus of making another game. Everything always circles back to making a new game. This allows the game to maintain a sort of purity in its identity, where it is able to look into what happens with a game with one mechanic as its focus. There are other games that take their one mechanic and add variations to that mechanic, such as Cook Serve Delicious, which has you running a restaurant and making food for various customers while under a time rush. The game is always about running the restaurant and doing all these small tasks quickly, but each task is different, whether it is cleaning the dishes or making different meals. There are other mechanics like choosing menu items and completing mini objectives, but it is always about your restaurant. There is nothing to take you out of the focus of the game, always a pure and simple experience. Even There's Poop in My Soup has some variation in the game mechanic of hurling poop at people. There are different levels and interactions with various items within the world, so that even though the main point of the game is clear, there is variation on the main theme, but always the focus is on the one game mechanic. These simple games all have a different thing they focus on, whether it be a setting, theme, or a game mechanic. One of the games that does this best is Superhot, which takes one simple game mechanic and makes one of the most interesting shooters in a long time out of it. The whole idea of Superhot is that time only moves when you move, but the depth in which they examine that one game mechanic leads to a very interesting game with lots of subtlety to it. Superhot is a great example of the point I am trying to get to. Many people are looking for these large-scale games with lots of features that are complicated and expansive, and that is the only thing that justifies any money in their mind. But I feel people need to start putting more value, both critically and financially, towards these narrow experiences that offer only one bite of gameplay, but with a deep richness you can only get with this kind of intense focus on a single idea. Anyways, that was my bite-sized video about bite-sized games. I would love to hear what you think about these kinds of games and about my video, so leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this, check out my channel for more videos and consider subscribing. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time.